It was amazing. I grew up on Richard Pryor. You can't even go back and talk about the book he wrote.
Yeah.
You know, and then what I got to do sometimes is explain, which I hate in big arenas, that this is a thought police thing, and I do not like it. But when I use these words, this is my intent behind those words.
Yeah.
Wow.
So as long as you understand my intent, I still get people, well, just don't say it. And I said, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, but they take it out of context and put it on Twitter or put it on Facebook. And
I'm surprised they haven't.
Hollywood's favorite anti-woke comedian is back at it again, causing outrage with a single tweet that's got everyone talking. For years, he's made it clear. He's not here to toe Hollywood's woke line, and he's certainly not going to apologize for asking questions that woke Hollywood doesn't like. So what happens when this award-winning comedian and actor decides to take on the woke machine? If you've been online at all, you know Tim Allen isn't one to keep his opinions quiet. He's the guy who'll tweet something outrageous, lean back, and watch the woke crowd lose their minds. It's not his first rodeo, and it probably won't be his last. But his latest tweet? This one hit a nerve like no other. The response was immediate and explosive.
Whoa. Wait a minute, let's go back.
Immediate.
I need to see that. I didn't even get to read
His
it.
latest tweet? This one.
Who is the face of woke? Do wokies have a clubhouse in someone's backyard? Let's see. Okay. It's a joke. Like, if you can't understand that context on a post, you have bigger problems. But that's funny. Even if it was like someone jabbing at my values, I would just take it with a grain of salt.
Hit a nerve like no other. The response was immediate and explosive. This one tweet had Twitter mobs going berserk. They just couldn't handle that Tim dared to call them out. People were scrambling to blast him for crossing the line. But let's face it, Tim Allen isn't about to let the woke dictate what he...
Like, those jokes are tame. They're very tame jokes. Like, they're not even offensive in my book, but I guess that depends on the person. You know, if it upsets you and offends you, then the thing is, you don't need to watch it. Like, there are some things that I've seen that upset me, and I go, you know what? I gotta take a step back and think about this because I'm not in my right mind. I'm angry, and I need time to process it, and that's fine. Do that. Take that time. Think about it, process it, and then come back when you've calmed down. But don't do this. Please, like, be civil. Be respectful of other people's opinions, even if you don't agree with them. But what Tim Allen's doing is a joke. He's joking. They're jokes. Don't take it literally. He's not calling anyone out. He's not being rude to anyone. It's just a joke. Just relax.
He can and can't say. And honestly, that's why he's been such a thorn in Hollywood's side for so long.
Because of saying a word, and it's one of those things where it's like it's kind of unbelievable. It's
actually disturbing on a fundamental level. It's gotten to the point where literally there's part of me, a deep part of me, that just F it, bring it on. If you want to cancel me, go ahead.
But that's not the only thing driving woke Hollywood mad. Tim's been poking the bear for years, and he's become an expert at it. Take his Disney trip, for example. While enjoying a day at Disney...
Well, when he's saying, F it, he's done, I think this is pretty normal and logical for a lot of people that don't subscribe to this way of thinking is, look, I'm not hurting anyone with disagreeing with you. I think most people just want to live their lives in peace and not be bothered and just basically tell people, hey, you do you, just don't get me involved. But then it becomes a problem because these people involved this person, right? Tim Allen is getting involved, and now he has no choice but to fight back, If they would have just left him alone, let bygones be bygones, I guarantee you this wouldn't be happening.
Disneyland, he shared an anecdote that made everyone do a double take. Tim overheard a 13-year-old kid wondering if he was pansexual because he likes skillets. Classic Tim. He couldn't help but share this moment online, poking fun at how the language of identity has become so exaggerated. And as expected, the backlash was swift. Suddenly, the woke crowd was accusing him of insensitivity and bullying. Here's the reality. Hollywood hates Tim Allen because he's not afraid to ask the questions they'd rather ignore.
Right.
Starting in '75, do you still enjoy stand-up, my friend, as much as you did in the early days?
there's moments that it's more. It reminds me of my anarchist background.
And they've tried everything to cancel him, from social media outrage to pulling him off the screen. But guess what? Tim doesn't play by Hollywood's rules. Let's rewind a bit to ABC's cancellation of Last Man Standing. In case you didn't know...
Oh, they canceled that? That was a good series. I saw a few episodes of that. I liked it. It was basically like, if I'm not mistaken, it was a lot like Home Improvement, but instead of him having sons, he had daughters. But it was a good series. I liked it.
Last Man Standing
even
was
Jay
one
Leno
of
was in it a few
ABC's
times.
top-rated shows.
Let's talk about Last Man Standing. Congrats on this.
No, thanks very much.
I watched it when it was on ABC.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it wasn't on ABC.
Tell us.
And I can tell you why it was popular. Tim Allen's character and just that family in general was relatable. People like relatable characters, things that they can relate to. You know, people in general want a sense of belonging and community, and if a show is going to give them that sense of belonging and community, they're going to watch it. People like relatable things, and I think that's why it was so popular. It's relatable, it's down to earth, and a lot of people like that. But of course, it gets canceled because of whatever reason.
Tell the 300 of the crew and everybody the same thing. We're all going, this is the best show I've ever been on. What? We're off the air. We all thought we were at the top of their game at ABC. Who knows how networks work? I don't know, but it was dropped.
It was second only to Modern Family, yet they dropped it like a hot potato. Why? Because Tim Allen dared to portray a likable conservative on mainstream
well,
TV.
there you go.
Right, and I don't like gum in there too, but all right, when we're driving around, what do other people do when they see us?
They do this.
You know why they do that? This truck is older than you, but it's a classic, and people realize it's a classic. And you're a classic too.
How flattering. I'm an old truck.
And in Hollywood, that's a big no-no.
Right.
As Tim himself put it, there's nothing more dangerous, especially in this climate, than a funny, likable conservative.
I was invited by, we did a VIP thing for the vets and went to the Veterans Ball, and so I went to go see Democrats and Republicans. Yeah, I went to the inauguration. It was
I'm not attacking you.
You get in this town. I'm not kidding. You got to be real careful around here. You know, you get beat up. If you don't believe what everybody believes, this is like 30s Germany. I don't know what.
Yeah, I like to call it a mind hurt. You have to conform to the popular belief, and if you don't, you will be corrected. And I think a lot of people are getting fed up with this mentality and trying to force people to drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak.
I don't know what happened. If you're not part of the group.
They didn't even try to hide it. Tim's politics were clearly the problem, but he didn't back down. Instead, he called it out. But here's where it gets interesting. ABC might have canceled him, but Fox stepped in to pick up Last Man Standing and keep it running. So while ABC tried to make an example out of Tim, he ended up with a fresh platform to reach his audience. And it doesn't end there. Then there's Tim's new show, The Santa Clauses, on Disney+. The very fact that Disney brought him back shows they know Tim Allen isn't going anywhere. They might try to censor him, but they also know he's got a loyal fan base that Hollywood can't ignore. Now, here's where things really heat up. In The Santa Clauses, Tim's character makes a small joke, saying, "Merry Christmas to all." Oh wait, I forgot that saying Merry Christmas is suddenly problematic. More outrage. A single joke about Merry Christmas was enough to send the woke Twitterverse into a meltdown. Some called it offensive, others said it was politically divisive. But let's be real.
I really don't understand how saying that is offensive. Maybe if you know, you could let me know, because just saying Merry Christmas should not upset you. You can always just say, oh yeah, Happy Holidays, and move on. Why is this a problem? Like, these people are making these things into big problems that don't need to be big problems. I don't see why this needs to be an issue.
It's the Santa Clauses. A joke about Christmas should be the least surprising thing in a Christmas show. But no, to the woke crowd, this was a massive red flag. Podcaster and filmmaker Scott Weinberg was among the first to light the fire on Twitter. He shared the line with an outraged, "Merry Christmas to all" has suddenly become problematic post, and the internet went wild. The comments started flooding in, with people tearing into Tim Allen for, wait for it, bringing right-wing politics into Christmas. One commenter even threw out the idea that Tim's Santa character must be a MAGA supporter. It's almost funny. A joke about Christmas in a Christmas series had the entire woke crowd losing sleep. Because to them,
Yeah.
Tim Allen isn't just a comedian. He's a problem that needs to be canceled. And yet, no matter how hard they try, he keeps coming back. He's like Hollywood's worst nightmare, the conservative comedian who just won't go away. But here's the real thing. Tim Allen doesn't just face backlash from Twitter mobs. The entire Hollywood system is set up to silence voices like his. In his words, the thought police are everywhere. He's talked about how political correctness has reshaped comedy, making it nearly impossible for comedians to take risks. He's not afraid to share how this affects him either. He's explained that he's had to tweak his own material, adjusting his jokes so that they won't get him canceled by today's ultra-sensitive standards. Tim came up in comedy inspired by legends like Richard Pryor and Lenny Bruce, comedians who pushed boundaries, who weren't afraid to make people uncomfortable. But now every joke is dissected, every word analyzed.
Yeah, and I personally believe, feel free to disagree with me, that's the whole point of America. I don't think comedy should be touched. I think comedy in its purest form, you should be able to say whatever you want, even the most terrible things, because you should know in your mind that when you go to a comedy show, you're there for the laughs. It does not mean that they wish ill will on anyone. Like, you need to understand, I think people in general need to understand when you're at a comedy club or anywhere where you're going to watch comedy, you should be there to watch comedy. You shouldn't be taking it seriously. You shouldn't be dissecting things and going, oh, this must be what this person believes because they're telling jokes about it. It has nothing to do with it. Keep politics out of entertainment. It's like going to a political rally and being upset because you didn't get to go see a Batman movie or something. Well, you're not there to go see a movie. You're there to go see a political rally. You need to keep that in the back of your head at all times. There's certain things that you do and you do not do when you're at specific places. As they say, there's a time and place for everything, and I believe that. So, anyways.
And for comedians like Tim, it's a nightmare. He once joked on The View that he'd probably get canceled just for using words he heard from his own parents.
I'm surprised they haven't, because I do use some provocative words, but I tell them it's words that really got from my parents.
Right,
They
different
said the stuff
generations
we talked
have
about. I can't even
different
say it here. I
sayings.
can't even point to it.
Yeah.
It is an alarming thing for comedians, but my act has really been about family and kids and growing up anyway. But I was going to say, if I do some stuff. The women in my life were, whatever political party it was, always they hated the government and who's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
They always argued about that over vodka.
That's how far we've come.
Right.
But Tim isn't the type to back down. On the contrary, he's doubled down. He's publicly said he doesn't want to live in fear of being canceled. In fact, he'd rather face the backlash than sacrifice his integrity.
That's
and it's that
totally
defiant
fair. I
attitude
agree with him.
that has kept
I
him
don't
in
think he
Hollywood,
should live in
no
fear. I
matter
don't think
how hard
anyone
they try to
should
get
live
rid
in
of him.
fear.
And here's the thing. Tim Allen has become the poster child for anti-cancel culture. Every time the woke crowd tries to cancel him, he gets another job, another role, and another wave of fans who appreciate his refusal to cave.
Yeah, this is the thing I think that the woke mob doesn't understand is people will gravitate towards Tim Allen or anyone else that's standing up for what they believe is right. People love an underdog. So, and as long as there's a demand for people to want to watch Tim Allen, he will keep getting gigs because there will be networks and investors and people that will hire him because they know he brings in money. That's really the bottom line, is he brings in money for these companies. So of course, if someone drops him, that's an opportunity for another network or another company to put him on their payroll because they know if they've got Tim Allen there, they're going to get viewers. They're going to make money.
He's managed to create a career that stands in defiance of Hollywood's approved narrative. They might hate him for it, but they can't ignore him. The best part? Tim Allen isn't even fazed by their attempts to cancel him. While Twitter mobs rant and rave, he keeps moving forward. When Last Man Standing got the boot from ABC, Fox took it up in a heartbeat. When Disney tried to replace him by bringing in Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear, it didn't make a dent in his career. And now he's back on Disney Plus with the Santa Clauses, delivering lines that he knows will send Twitter into a tailspin. And let's not forget his stance on cancel culture itself.
That's good.
In one interview, Tim went on record saying that he understands the pressure, but he won't compromise his comedy just to keep a few people happy. He's openly criticized how society has become so quick to cancel people, saying it's like being back in high school, where everyone is ready to jump on you for the slightest misstep. To Tim, the whole situation is absurd. He's joked that he half expects people to cancel him just for using words that his own parents used.
I think I even think the woke left doesn't understand that they're not perfect either. And we really shouldn't be out there trying to cancel and judge people. You know, things happen, people make mistakes. It's called being human. Depends on the mistake, you know, but the mistake that you make has consequences, right? They are consequences to your actions. I'm not saying there shouldn't be any consequences, but this really isn't something to be punishing someone over. It's a difference of opinion, and I think we're really losing that as a society.
That cancel culture has made it so comedians have to explain every single joke, just in case it gets taken out of context.
And that gets
he's
tiring.
Right. That's
You shouldn't
exactly
have to
what's
explain
happening.
your
And
joke.
it's why so many comedians are falling silent, terrified of saying something that could ruin their careers. But Tim Allen, he's still going. Despite the mob, despite the networks trying to blacklist him, and despite Hollywood's obsession with silencing dissenting voices, Tim Allen...
Well, I would even argue that he still has to think about what he says, right? He still has to think about what he says before he says it, right? But he's proving a point by making these jokes. These jokes are really not that bad, and he's proving, I think personally, in my opinion here, he's proving the point that it doesn't matter what he says, there's going to be someone upset about it. So it doesn't matter if you play the game, you're not going to win. So you might as well just keep doing what you love doing and screw what people think, because at the end of the day, these people aren't paying his bills. They aren't doing anything for him. You know, at the end of the day, Tim Allen is a talent, and he got there through his talent and his comedy. There's always going to be people that will want to watch him. He's always going to be in demand.
Remains non-cancelable. And that's why he's the ultimate example of resilience in a world obsessed...
And again, I don't think it means he doesn't care. I just think Tim Allen, based off this, is the type of person that's going to go, look, you don't have to watch. I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I'm not going to be likable by everybody, and that's fine. I'm going to be me, and if you like me, great. If you don't like me, that's fine. Just let me believe what I want to believe, and I'll let you believe what you want to believe. I believe most people think like that unless they're completely unhinged.
With canceling anyone who dares to step out of line. In the end, Tim Allen has humiliated woke Hollywood by simply refusing to be silenced. They can try to censor him, they can pull his shows, and they can rage on Twitter, but he's still standing. And that, my friends, is why Tim Allen has humiliated Hollywood in the best way possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Tim Allen. I've seen a lot of things of different celebrities that are kind of done with this. I mean, it's going to get to a breaking point where people are fed up with this kind of mindset and behavior. It's not really benefiting society. It's actually hurting society, not helping. But thank you for watching. Peace.